it's the most embarrassing thing in the world when you go up to somebody at AVN, you're like, hi, I'm Sylvia. It's so nice to meet you. And they're like, we've had sex. And I'm like,
oh shit. I guess you weren't that memorable, which is almost like an insult to their sexual prowess.
Usually what I try and say is like, oh my gosh, you look so much different since the
They're
last
like,
time.
no, I don't.
I got, they're like, actually, this is the outfit I wore when we had sex.
That's so funny. That's happened to me a couple times, but it almost sounds messed up, but I don't forget the people that I had really great scenes with. So it is almost a little bit.
Be more memorable.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do better.
This is Sexy Funny Raw, where we talk all about the world of sex, from dating and relationships to the adult industry itself, answering all the questions you weren't even brave enough to ask Google. What's up, guys? I am Sylvia Sage. Welcome back to another episode of Sexy Funny Raw. I am joined in studio with the very lovely Romi Rain.
Hello. Nice to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. We had so much fun our last episode, and we're going to keep the fun rolling in this episode. And today we're going to talk about lessons learned the hard way.
Okay.
And you and I had previously discussed, you got into the industry in 2012.
Yes.
I came in 2014, but things were just so much different back then. And I feel like we were, like you said, in the trenches, and we really had to take some bullets and learn some lessons along the way.
Yeah.
So
we really had to learn how to stand up for ourselves and all that. You learn that a lot in porn.
Yes, you do.
You know, sometimes you don't know exactly what you like and what you're okay with until those boundaries are kind of pushed a little bit. And then you're like, no.
That was not okay.
This is not going to fly. So, yeah.
100%.
So that we definitely had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think your biggest lesson learned in porn was?
I mean, to not let people make decisions for you.
Yeah.
I had agents when I was first starting out, and I had one years ago, not even too long ago, but 4 or 5-ish. And you want to trust them, but at the same time, you can't put all of your trust. They can't really be speaking for you on everything. And if you want something done, you kind of have to do it yourself, or you have to make the initiative, because no one's going to care about your career the same way you do.
Absolutely not. You were a number to these people.
Yeah. And especially if they're working and running with so many girls. And in a fucked up way, I feel like it was more so this back when we were newer, but there was almost a competition kind of aspect to it.
Yeah.
And so they would be maybe favoring some people and not others, or almost trying to there would be times where my agents almost feel like they were trying to pit me against other girls or be competitive with them, or be like, oh, so-and-so's like you, or so-and-so said they feel like you, and oh, they need a type like this. And
typecasting is huge.
Yeah. So that was a big thing. Yeah. So I really tried to push through that a lot. I'm like, that's great. I don't, that's wonderful, who they are, but I'm me, they're them. There's room for both of us.
I feel I'm sure you've done some MILF work, but I don't ever feel like you've been typecast into the MILF category.
They tried. I mean, I've been in some MILF movies, and there's even been times where I said that I will do this movie, but I don't want MILF or mommy in the title. Okay. And there's been a couple times where they're yeah, sure, of course. And then there was MILF or mommy in the title. So again, sometimes I have these little trust issues, which is why, again, you have to be very assertive and make sure people aren't pushing you around or taking advantage. And I have nothing against the MILF title now. Now I'm in my 30s. Yeah. So now it's whatever, I get it. I still don't have kids.
Right.
So I'm still technically not a MILF, but I get it. I'm not against it now. But when I was newer, I was in my early mid 20s.
Okay.
So I'm I don't want to be a MILF now, because then I have nowhere to go. Yeah. And then what am I going to be when I'm 30s? JILF?
Yeah.
Am I going to be the grandma now? So I really wanted to try to establish a little bit of dominance in my own way. I'm can I just be a hot girl?
Yes.
Can I just be a sexy woman? Which I feel there was more of even further back in the day. There wasn't as much MILF or teen. A lot of it was just sex goddess women. And I'm I miss that. I'm can we just be sexy, sexual women? But yeah, they tried, and I really tried to fight that a little bit.
Good for you.
And I had to kind of fight against the tattooed thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have more tattoos now, but when I was newer, I had mostly just my whole back done and the paws and a couple here and there. And it was weird because I wasn't quite tattooed enough to be in a lot of the alt movies, but I wasn't nearly girl next door enough to be naive, teen girl. So I always kind of had to be I was always kind of typecast as more of the aggressor. So I was always like in charge a lot. I was always like kind of the taking advantage one. Yeah, dark hair, tattoos, not a teenager. So like I had little typecast things, but luckily not too bad. I feel like I did kind of get to push through a little bit, but that was because I was a little loud bastard about it.
Good, as you should have been. You were standing up for yourself. I think that's amazing. Did you think getting into the industry was going to be easier or harder than it actually was?
I really didn't know. I was very curious in the beginning because I started with like dancing and then webcamming, and webcamming led to like little spots in softcore, and then it kind of developed from there. I always kind of wondered. I did think I would enjoy it, and I did think I'd be good at it when I was watching porn. I'm like, I can do that. That looks easy. That looks fun. Like I can like have wild sex and like emote.
Yeah.
So like I always thought I could do it, but I wasn't quite sure of like how successful I could technically be, because you never really know.
You second guess yourself also.
Yeah. And like there was kind of like types that were taken more seriously than others. And then there really only is like a good handful of people that are almost allowed to be considered like the top dogs every year.
Right.
So like I never knew if I could really kind of push through, but I mean, I did get to work a lot. So I think like what kind of pushed me was like performance. I really loved sex, and I really loved putting on a show. So I think like that's what really helped my career way more than like looks or personality. Like I kind of like based my career.
You're a performer.
I was a performer, like through and through. That's what helped. It wasn't that I was super hot. I never thought I was one of the hottest girls in the industry. Never thought I was one of the coolest ones.
You are one of the hottest girls in the industry.
Stop.
Let's be honest.
Oh,
but yes.
please. There's some really hot girls now.
There are some gorgeous women.
Yeah. Especially now. And like, I mean, there always was, but like now because of OnlyFans and stuff, it's so much more popular and cooler to be in like porn and sex work now. So I feel like a lot more people are like, they're not afraid of it anymore. So you're getting like all of these even model types or creators.
To hate the comment when people would be like, oh, but you're so pretty.
You're too pretty for porn.
Yeah, I can't believe you do porn. You're just so pretty. And I'm like, what the fuck? What does that even mean?
So
like,
ugly girls are supposed to do porn?
Yeah, you want to just watch toothless girls with fucking acne? I don't understand what we're talking about here.
It is like kind of a subtle insult where they're like, no, you could be doing so much better.
Yeah. I'm like, well, now we're all millionaires. So
yeah. We're all pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're pretty and we're fucking.
Yeah.
All worked out.
Oh my gosh.
What lessons do you think taught you the most? Like, what do you think you learned the most from?
I mean, I think just kind of being taken advantage of a little bit, being like my boundaries being pushed, like I said, and that really like made me take it all in and be like, okay, like, you can't quite trust people as much as you want to. Yeah. Because I always would like to try to put like my faith in all these people. And
so tough.
Yeah. So I think like I kind of learned that, people aren't always as nice.
Look out for yourself.
As nice as like they want to seem, and like there really is like the shady sometimes in porn, but there's amazing people in porn too.
Of course.
So I hate that cliche.
I always tell people there are good and bad people in every single industry. It doesn't matter where you go, it's good and bad, and it's the same way in the porn industry.
Yeah, I've been in comedy too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked in hospitals for a decade of my life. There are good and bad people everywhere.
Yeah.
Like people also think that the porn industry is so wrapped with drugs. I'm like, I've done more drugs with the doctors I worked with than I've done with the porn stars I've worked with.
I believe that. Yeah.
Honestly.
No, me too. I always thought like this wasn't a really good place to really even be doing too much drugs. I know there's a lot of people who partied, but I always noticed that the girls who partied, like it fucked with their career.
It absolutely does.
I mean, even if they were like a hot young thing for a while, it would always get around like, oh, they showed up to set late. They were all messed up. They were slumping in the makeup chair. Their scene wasn't very good. So everybody would talk, which is like a thing in the industry too. People love gossip.
Porn industry is a high school.
Oh, it is. People love to gossip. And hey, I love to listen. So I'm always down. I'm like, oh, what happened? Who did what? Because I feel like it's a learning experience too. I want to know who I should and maybe shouldn't be around or work with. But so it always affected their business a lot, and always usually came to bite people in the ass. So 100%. I was always kind of like a goody two shoes when it came to sex work. I always like showed up on time, if not early, packed suitcase, clean clothes. Like I was ready to go.
Girl, let's just talk about like being a professional that shows up to set and then having to work with somebody who shows up and they're like, I don't have my luggage and I need a blow dryer. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And they're like, can you loan her some clothes? I'm like, what are we not? I have to loan her my clothes. By the way, I spend thousands of dollars on my lingerie pieces. Like, and now I've got to give them to this girl who couldn't even bother to shower or pack a bag. Like, absolutely not. It's like, I'm not here for this. Like,
I tried to be nice when I could, but like, it would always be people that I didn't want to work with again.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I will try and be nice in the moment, but again, I'm like, I'm not trying to like deal with you.
And I hate girls who slow down the day. That was always the bane of my existence too. Because I love it. I love like the sex is the best part of the day for me. Besides pictures, pictures can be fun. But like when somebody slows it down, because we can be there for hours.
Yes.
Some people don't realize how long like a porn set day can be. It can be like 6 to 12 hours, even if it's not a feature. And like, I'm like, the longer people like take it, I get like antsy.
Yes.
I'm a little ADD. So like the longer I have to like just sit there and wait, I hate it. So like I'll just mentally like just curse somebody after a while.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that's why I love the professionals.
Yeah.
Like A to B to C, let's do it.
Yeah, agreed. You know, I will say the biggest lesson I have ever taken away from porn, I took away, you said you did some softcore stuff. I took away from a softcore HBO movie that I did early on. And I had went to this audition and initially I did not get the part. They ended up having to call me back because whoever did get the part got pink eye.
Oh no.
And so I was the second runner up. And so I got to do the gig. But I found out the reason they didn't cast me originally was because the director said you were too open. Your schedule was too open. And I was like, what?
Oh.
When they were saying like, what's your availability for filming? And I was like, I'm free. I can be free whenever. Like I have all the time. You just tell me when you need me and I'll be there.
Yeah.
And he said that was why he didn't cast me is
Really?
because I wasn't wanted. Like I wasn't busy.
That's rude.
Yes. Yeah. But because I wasn't like I wasn't somebody who was like so busy I'd have to get back to you. And that's what he said. He goes, your answer should have been, let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. And I was like, okay, because I made me sound like I wasn't popular, I wasn't busy, I wasn't working.
I mean, I guess, but I would think that makes you sound eager, and usually
that's
they're
what
excited.
I thought. Yeah,
because sometimes I say that too. I'm like, I can make it work. Like I can be available. Like when you need me, I can move things around.
Well, that's what I say now is, well, I make my own schedule.
Yeah.
So as long as you tell me far enough in advance, I can usually make it work. But I will say, let me check on things and I'll get back to you now.
No, so that's something it's good to learn.
Yes.
Like, because who knows? Maybe that could like hold some people back. But it's a weird thing to have them hold back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then they had to book. And then thankfully your schedule was open. So you were available when they did book you.
But I think it's more like the fake it till you make it type of thing. And like seem more popular than you are. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That taught me a big lesson of like, all right, I'm going to seem very popular all the time.
Yeah.
People want me. People need me. I got places to be.
Never let anybody know that you're struggling if you're struggling in any way.
True.
It's almost like faking a good attitude, even if you don't feel great that day.
Yeah. Or if I just woke up from a nap and that's why I missed your call, I was out running errands.
Yeah.
You know? So
Be busy all day. Or sometimes when people call me for meetings or whatever, sometimes I've just like not done anything all day. I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't that. But
it's been super busy.
Yeah.
All day.
That's actually a good one. Yeah, you should always say you're busy even if you're not busy. That's
I'm
a good
in a
point.
meeting. Yeah. A lot of times my naps are meetings. But
flip through like a fake address book. Like, oh, let me check this real quick. Flip.
Yeah.
I think I could do it on like this day 2 weeks from now, and like the whole week was free.
Yeah, for sure. You give them 1 or 2 dates and you're like, this is the only availability I have. I'm sorry, we're grounded.
Sorry.
Yeah. Lessons.
Yeah, it's good to know. Honestly, that's actually a good point.
What was a lesson that you wish, like a lesson learned that you wish you could go back now and like just change how you did things?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I think I have like an answer for this, but it's not on the top of my head. I don't know. I think I maybe would have been even more aggressive when I was newer. I think I would have like taken charge even more so.
Yeah.
And like contacted people, because I got better at contacting people and like reaching out, because a lot of good gigs that I've gotten is because like I've actually reached out to directors or the company and said, hey, I would love to do this, or I'd love to be a part of this project. So
smart.
Yeah. So I didn't do that obviously that much when I was newer, because I put like obviously most of my eggs in the agent's basket.
Of course,
like, hey, help me out here.
Yeah.
But yeah. And also like there was a couple moments when I was newer that like I kind of maybe did let like a relationship kind of like mess with my career a little bit. And like that doesn't seem like me, because it's not me. It was a hiccup. It was only a few months, but like it happened. And I was like, and like I like canceled some gigs.
Yeah.
I like didn't do a couple things, and I'm like, that was stupid. You never ever ever like sacrifice anything for a relationship. Not when it comes to your career, not when it comes to your money, because like that's really all you got. That's gonna last longer than most relationships.
Yeah.
And anybody who doesn't support you, then you shouldn't be with them anyway.
Agreed. They knew what you were doing
Yes.
when they got into this relationship with you. I agree. I've also, not for any like amount of time, but I have like canceled some shoots because I'm like, oh, well, I want to fuck them this weekend. And I don't have time to test in between now and then. And I'm like, yeah, I just won't do that shoot so I can have sex with this person for free.
Yeah.
So dumb.
For free.
I'm like, what was I thinking?
Honestly.
Yeah. And then you break up with that person a week later and you're like, God damn it. Do you know that I threw away thousands of dollars to sleep with you?
Yes. You have no idea how lucky you were, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
So no, I think, but that's something I think a lot of girls have dealt with like once or twice in their careers.
Agreed.
Especially if you've had a long career. It's easy to have that hiccup every so often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I wish I would have wrote down names. There's Zach Wilde. When I first shot with him, like he had this book and he would write down the movie name, the director's name, and everybody who was in the movie. Even he would write down like lighting guys' names, like everything, so he could remember everybody from like every scene. And I was like, man,
that's cool.
I wish I would have done that, because like the amount, like of course you learn everybody's names over time because you work with the same companies a lot, but for the longest time, I'm like, okay, I've seen this lighting guy 9 times and I can't remember if his name is JP or Josh, you know, like things like that. Or like, I don't remember even some of the people that I've worked with, you know, like it's the most embarrassing thing in the world when you go up to somebody at AVN, you're like, hi, I'm Sylvia. It's so nice to meet you. And they're like, we've had sex. And I'm like,
oh shit. I guess you weren't that memorable, which is almost like an insult to their sexual prowess.
Usually what I try and say is like, oh my gosh, you look so much different since the
They're
last
like,
time.
no, I don't.
I got, they're like, actually, this is the outfit I wore when we had sex.
That's so funny. That's happened to me a couple times, but I like, it almost sounds messed up, but I don't forget the people that I had really great scenes with. So it is almost a little bit.
Be
like,
more memorable.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, do better. But I do like the idea of writing down everybody's names. I've never done that. But yeah, you recognize some people and know their stuff over time, which does help. I do know some people that would also take like a Polaroid of like every person they worked with as like almost a little keepsake.
Like a memo.
I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah, that
but
is
like,
cute.
It's easy to get into a habit and then fall out of it after a while. Because I mean, how long have we like been doing this? How many scenes have we had? Like hundreds?
That's another thing. If I would have been writing them down, I would have known how many scenes I've done.
I don't know.
And I have no. People ask me that all the time. I'm like, I have no idea. I try to do the math. Like I'm always like, okay, so I shot probably 10, 15, 20 times a month for so many years, and then times that by, you know, and I'm like, I don't know, a lot. And then you go like, some of those were threesomes, some of those were orgies. Like the numbers just stack on top of each other at this point.
It really does.
I have no clue.
Because some people try to keep track on some of these like websites, but I don't think those are accurate.
They're not.
And they always leave out a few things here and there.
Yeah. And then they can't get your content. There's no way that like, they're looking at scenes who have been put out by companies. They're not looking at your content also.
Oh God.
You know?
When you include content, that adds on like a few hundred more scenes.
Right.
That's crazy. Yeah. I don't even know how many people I've worked with. Like
no idea.
But I mean, I feel like that's kind of a cool thing, because once you get past a certain number, then it's like, I don't know.
Who cares?
I don't keep track anymore. Like most of them, most of the good ones at least. Yeah. That's usually what I would say. I'm like, most of the good ones.
Anybody you want to have sex with? I probably had sex with them.
I'd like to think so. I mean, probably not in the past couple of years, obviously, not some of the newbies, but like in like the glory days, like we had some really like great talent.
Oh,
when we
absolutely.
were newer. And the funny thing is, a lot of the guys who are like, you know, the golden guys in our heyday are still kind of around.
Yes.
They're like just starting to kind of fade out a little bit, or like go and do
like
different
the
things.
Chad Whites and stuff like that. Like,
Even like Kieran, Manuel,
Kieran,
Johnny,
true.
other Johnny.
Yes. Yes.
Like they were like all the top dogs.
They were.
And there's only a few more newer guys. Like
there's
the
not
Zach
a lot
Wilds.
of top guys coming in.
No, it's hard to find really hard to find a good male porn star.
Yes,
it really
agreed.
is.
Like the names that you just like described, those are like the guys who are like going to throw you up against the wall. I feel like some of the newer guys, I'm like, they're smaller than I am. I don't know how they're going to like manhandle me.
And that doesn't really do it for me. I don't want to feel like I can take you in a fight.
Yeah.
You know? Because I'm always going to wonder that. I'm going to size you up a little bit.
Yes.
And granted, I don't want it to look like you could like destroy me. But at the same time.
But I don't want to look like I can squash you.
Yeah. I don't want to be bigger than you. Like, I already have broad shoulders. It makes me feel weird. I don't want to like take you down.
Yeah.
But no, there's a few. Because there is kind of this new like newish fetish where like there are the school boys.
Yes.
There's like.
Hate that fetish.
Yeah.
I do not want a little boy.
No. And they usually have big dicks. So that's like the shtick is like they're tiny guys with big dicks.
Yeah.
But it's just, like,
Have
no
you
offense.
had sex with Jordy?
I have.
See, I haven't and I won't.
No, see, that's
Because
the thing.
of
And I
his
hate to
size.
say it. I was asked to work with him so many times and I finally like seceded
Sorry, Jordy.
for a Brazzers scene.
Yeah.
No, because he like reminds me of somebody that I know that
Like somebody's kid?
well, just like a fucking cousin, like a young cousin. And I'm like, oh, it like really kind of gave me the ick a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I did, and people love the scene, which is hilarious.
And the kid's like 25. Don't get
he's
me
not
wrong.
super young.
But he looks like a child, which is my problem with it.
Yeah. And they like that for some reason. There's a
know.
few like newer guys that kind of have that shtick. And I know it doesn't really do it for me. And again, I try to only do scenes that I'm really into, but like every once in a while it is a job.
Yeah.
You're going to take the job.
And Brazzers is
And it's a
Brazzers
good company.
love him also.
I think he was contracted for like most of his career.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, great for you and your porn career. I just can't. Like, I feel the same way about some of the very, very little girls. I remember there was one girl in the very beginning. It was, again, trial and error. You don't know until you have sex with him. But I can't remember her name. I want to say Coco Love, I think. But she has a very tiny, tiny voice also. And her voice was like,
Oh my gosh.
and she was very little.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh gosh, it just feels very childlike, you know? And it was like, it made me uncomfortable, you know? Like,
I'm really not into that fetish.
Yeah.
Because like the barely legal thing, because it always kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yes.
Because I'm like, well, why do you like that they're barely
Yes.
legal?
Why do we want them to look like children?
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Why do you want her to be 90 pounds with braces and have her get gangbanged?
Yes.
Like, that's a little intense. I get it, but like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's just not for me.
Yeah.
And no offense.
And again, with this girl, the only reason I agreed to do it was because she was like, I'm 25. And I was like, okay.
Like, they just do this to
yeah.
me.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this I can make work. But man, the mental game behind it is just a lot. Did you, of course, we all have no list. And so, so when you get into porn, it is trial and error of like who you want to have sex with, but then you get a yes and no list of people that you do prefer to work with or people that you absolutely will not work with.
Yeah.
Did you have like a horrible experience with anybody that you put on a no list or?
I haven't had too many horrible experiences. A lot of what would get you on my no list is if you have a shitty attitude.
Okay.
Like if you just show up and you're just not at all happy to be there, if like you don't make eye contact with me at all, like
I've had those scenes.
Yeah, and I'm like, because again, I want to have some level of connection because I feel like that makes the scene better.
Yeah.
So like if I feel like we're not going to do a great scene together, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a guy who were in like I think a 3 or 4 way. He was like, yeah, I don't even like feel it anymore. Like these girls are just like a hole to stick it in. And I'm like, dude, it was intense.
Then you can leave, sir.
Yeah, I was like, what is this asshole?
Yeah.
Like it was like a big turn off. And like maybe if you're that desensitized to what you're doing, maybe you need to leave.
Yeah.
Because like this is still should be fun and enjoyable. Like, and it's not good to talk about women like that in general. We're not just like holes for you to stick it in. Like we're beautiful snowflakes. Okay.
We are beautiful snowflakes.
So stuff like that. And then like to be really, really honest, and I hate to like have to go there, but like if they couldn't perform very well. So like, I know like, the up and down thing happens, but like, that it will slow down the day. And like I said earlier, I have a problem with the day being slowed down. So like if there was this problem for too long, then I would just kind of for my own sake and for that cruise day's sake, I would be like, maybe again, pass and try to get like other people that were on par. Like I did have a pretty annoying experience where like a guy was a replacement to a guy that I really like, and we were in like a bigger scene, and he popped during the stills.
Oh my God. Yeah. Which, by the way, you guys, that's the first thing you do is sex stills. Yeah. So
the photos of what's supposed to happen in the scene. So he popped during the stills, and then he could not get hard again for like the rest of the day, the rest of the scene. And he was like, "Oh, could you guys just like help me?" And like, so like he wanted us to like blow him off camera for like 10, 15 minutes.
Which I'll do if I like you.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll do it if it seems like it's working.
Yeah.
Like, but like, sorry, but don't have me suck a limp dick for 20 minutes and it's not even on camera. What am I doing
Nothing's
here?
happening here. We're gonna go.
I am sorry. I will suck your dick. I will suck an actual like thriving, throbbing dick all day long. But if you want my jaw to stop hurting, like before we're even shooting anything, no, don't hurt my business like that. I'm trying to have a good scene and like make this good for my career. So like, and all the guys were kind of pissed off too because he was slowing down all the guys, and then he kind of almost insulted the guys, being like, "What do you guys all do to stay hard? What do you inject with? What do you take?" Oh my God! And granted, some people do take stuff, and some people do inject, but like the guys are just like standing around like jerking their hard dicks while this guy has a limp one, like arguing with them. It was like so weird. So so that guy got on my no list. Oh my God. And like he was kind of upset that he got on my no list, but like, I'm sorry, babe. Like I don't want to risk that again. Like I care about the day and the scene. But if you are a great performer and like you're usually on par and you know how to like control your body, which is a big part of what we do. That's why it's hard for males to get in this industry. That's why I give the male performers so much credit, because it takes a lot for them to be able to do it. So I was always pretty picky on who I worked with guy wise, because I don't want to deal with that stuff again. Yeah,
it is so much more pressure on the men than it is on us. I mean, we have lube that we can help get wet, and like we can fake an orgasm, but they can't fake anything. No. But that's also why we have such a limited pool of men to pick from. Yeah. People think I'm lying to them when I tell them, I'm like, there's maybe 10 working guys. Pretty much. Like, like honestly, if you draw it out, you're like, I can probably name 20. But even then, it's
like 10 that get consistently hired for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have hundreds of women, but it's just like, we always need more men, more consistent men who can work all the time. Yeah. I kind of feel bad for our guys. It's sometimes. I'm like, man, they have to go from shoot to shoot. Sometimes they're shooting a couple times a day. They're shooting 5 to 7 days a week. I'm like, they're poor dicks.
But if they're good at it, it's like a really good gig for the guys.
That's true.
Because again, the guys can work so much more for so much longer than us. Like I know a lot of guys who are making more money than most of the girls.
Well, if you're like a Kieran Lee, like Kieran's rate is my rate.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of guys. Like some of the names that I named earlier, like they had girl rates. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they also earn them.
No, of course. Yeah. But again, that's why. Yeah. Like, but if they're good at their jobs, like they were like golden boys. They like got so much out of the industry, and they usually could almost pick and choose what girls they wanted to work with.
Absolutely.
So like if you can control your dick in porn, you will have a really good time in porn.
And it doesn't even have to be big.
And it doesn't. Yeah. They like it if it's a little bit on the bigger side.
Just because for the camera.
For the cameras.
But there are plenty of dudes who work every day who have very average penises.
Yes.
And honestly, I love being on set with those guys because I'm like, this can be an easy day.
Yeah. I don't mind an average penis. You're not going to be sore the next day. You can do like other shoots that week and not be destroyed.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
It's going to be great. I'm going to go home feeling good. It's going to be a good sex day. Yeah. Do you think that getting into adult changed you, like as a person?
I kind of think so. I think it made me more confident. I think it made me more like sexually confident as well.
Yeah.
I think like it kind of got me out a little bit more, even in the world. Like I said before, like I was kind of like a homebody and I was like only child of a single parent. So like I was so like used to being able to be in my own world, but it made me so much more social.
Yeah.
It made it so much easier to talk to people because a lot of what we do is like our personalities and interacting with fans and even stuff like OnlyFans. Like we're half of what we're doing is interacting with them and talking to them and getting to know them and talking about ourselves. So I think it made me a much more social person, ironically, even though sometimes like I'll go to set and then like go home and like, hide and order.
We all do that, I think.
I know it's so good. But
sets are very draining of everything, like mental, physical, everything. I just feel like after a set, I do the same thing. I can't even stop at a gas station. I'm like home to smoke weed and eat Postmates. Like I can do nothing else.
So good. Yeah. I mean, it's even physically challenging just to be standing in heels for 8 hours straight.
Yes.
Like it
I always
sounds
take
stupid.
Slippers, but yeah.
Smart. I do that when we're at conventions. So I always take comfortable shoes, sneakers. I never wear heels at conventions. I learned the hard way my first few years. Now I don't care. I wear like the sluttiest outfit, but with like cute
tennis
sneakers.
shoes. Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
It's like a total theme now.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel the same thing. You said like the sexual like maturity. I feel the same way. I grew so much sexually and so much confidence in just like my general self from porn. I could not be more thankful to porn for like changing my life. Yeah. I don't even go by my birth name anymore for anything. I go by Sylvia for everything because I feel like porn gave me so much confidence that I'm like, Sylvia is a badass bitch, and that's the girl I'm just gonna be. Like,
absolutely.
Forget about the other person.
And then honestly, too, like a lot of people know you as that name. People ask me like in my friend group and around, like, what do you want me to refer to you as? And I'm like, I'm Romi. I mean,
I love that.
I'm pretty much Romi everywhere except for I need to have like my legal ID.
Of course.
Like, except for like, a couple specific places like Ubers and stuff. Like,
is it weird for you now when you have to give your real name?
It like I almost like pause slightly because I'm almost not used to it. Like I know when I'm supposed to say my real name versus Romi, but at the same time, I am Romi. I've been Romi for like over 15 years, so it's like I am her, she is me.
Yeah, same.
And I like the name, so why not call me it?
Exactly.
And then if somebody recognizes me in public, I'd rather people be referring to me as Romi.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
agreed.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode as well. I know it's just too fast, but you and I will continue this because we are going to make sure that for one, I'm going to get you out because I'm a social butterfly. So I'm going to make you more social.
Okay.
And then we're going to shoot some content together.
We are going to shoot some content.
Yeah. That's going to be great. All right, guys. Find Romi online. Romi Rain. Do you have like every...
Some people steal my name on the platform, so sometimes, but yeah, I'm Romi_Rain on Twitter and OnlyFans, Romi Rain on Instagram, official Romi Rain on TikTok, findromi.com, romifans.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button, and then until next time, adios.